Welcome to another class of process heat transfer. In this lecture I will explain about the second mode of heat transfer, that is known as convection. In the previous class I have already explained about the first mode of heat transfer, that is known as conduction. Let's talk about convection. Convection is the mode of energy transfer between a solid surface and the adjacent liquid or gas that is in motion, and it involves the combined effect of conduction and the fluid motion. The one thing that you need to keep in your mind that faster the fluid motion, the greater will be the convection heat transfer. If the fluid motion is slow, then the convection heat transfer will be slow. In the absence of any bulk fluid motion, the heat transfer between a solid surface and the adjacent fluid is only by conduction process. The presence of bulk motion of the fluid enhances the heat transfer between the solid surface and the fluid, but it also complicates the determination of heat transfer rates. Let us just try to understand the heat transfer from a hot surface to air by the convection process. As you can see in this block diagram, that considering the cooling of a hot block by blowing the cool air over its top surface, as you can see in this diagram, the air is moving from left to right direction, and these are the profiles, the velocity profile of air as well as the temperature profiles. So energy is first transferred to the air layer adjacent to the block by the conduction process. This is the first thing. This energy is then carried away from the surface by the convection process, that is by the combined effect of conduction within the air, that is due to the random motion of air molecules, and the macroscopic motion of the air that removes the heated air near the surface and replaces it with the cold air. As you can see that the velocity near the block is near to the zero and the velocity of the air away from the surface is very high. Similarly, the temperature near the block is higher and the temperature of the air which is away from the surface is lesser. Forced and natural convection. So convection is basically classified into two categories, the forced convection as well as the natural convection or the free convection. Let us just try to understand what are these categories of the convection process. Convection is called the forced convection if the fluid is forced to flow over the surface by the external means such as a fan, pump or the wind. Whereas in the opposite, the convection is called the natural or the free convection if the fluid motion is caused by buoyancy forces that are induced by the density difference due to the variation of the temperature in the fluid. Here comes an example in which we will try to understand the forced and the natural convection. So for example, in the absence of a fan, heat transfer from a surface of the hot block, as you can see in the previous slide. So that will be by the natural convection, since any motion in the air in this case will be due to the rise of the warmer or the lighter air near the surface and the fall of the cold air to fill its place. Now in this example, if we provide some sort of external means, that in this case we are using a fan to cool down this hot egg. So in this case we are saying that the heat is being transferred from the egg to the surrounding air due to the forced convection. This process will be known as the forced convection. And on the right hand side, no external mean is being provided in order to cool down this hot egg, so this process would be known as the natural convection process. The conduction that we have studied in the previous lecture and basically explained by the Fourier's law of heat conduction. Here we are studying the convection process, and it is basically explained by the Newton's law of cooling. The heat transfer processes that involves the change of phase of a fluid are also considered to be the convection process, because the fluid motion induced during this process, such as the rise of the vapor bubbles during the boiling or the fall of the liquid droplets during the condensation process, this is also known as the convection process. Despite the complexity of the convection, the rate of convection heat transfer is observed to be the proportional of the temperature difference. and is conveniently expressed by the Newton's law of cooling. As you can see that the rate of convective heat transfer is directly proportional to the temperature difference, that is Ts is the surface temperature, that the T infinity which is the temperature which is away from the surface, right? The rate of convective heat transfer is directly proportional to the temperature difference. If we remove the proportionality sign and replace it with the equality sign, we'll have to put the constant, and this constant is known as the convection heat transfer coefficient. The convective heat transfer rate is also proportional to the heat transfer surface area. Greater the surface area, the greater will be the convective heat transfer rate. The convective heat transfer coefficient is expressed by H, and its unit are watt per meter square percentage per degree centigrade, and in the American unit it can also be expressed as BTU per hour per feet square per degree Fahrenheit. Whereas the AS is the surface area through which the convection heat transfer takes place, and Ts is the surface temperature. The T or the T infinity is the temperature of the fluid sufficiently far away from the surface. Note that at the surface the fluid temperature equals to the surface temperature of the solid, and the convection heat transfer coefficient H is not the property of the fluid. Basically, it is an experimentally determined parameter whose values depends on all the variables influencing the convection, such as the surface geometry and the nature of the motion and the properties of the fluid and the bulk fluid velocity. Let's talk about an example related to the convection process. Measuring the convection heat transfer coefficient. Here is the statement of the example related to the convection heat transfer coefficient. So we have a 2 meter long and a 0.3 centimeter diameter electrical wire extends across a room at the temperature of 15 degrees centigrade, and it is basically given here in the figure. This is the geometry of the electrical wire. Heat is generated in the wire as a result of resistance heating, and the surface temperature of the wire is measured to be 152 degrees centigrade in steady operations. As we all know that electrons flow through the wire, because of the resistance, heat is basically generated. Also, the voltage drop and the electric current through the wire are measured to be 60 volt and 1.5 ampere respectively. So the next is disregarding any heat transfer by the radiation. So this means that we are neglecting the radiation heat transfer. Determine the convection heat transfer coefficient for the heat transfer between the outer surface of the wire and the air in the room. So air in the room has a temperature of 15 degrees centigrade and the surface temperature of the wire is 152 degrees centigrade. So two things are clear. We know that the two temperatures are going to use in the Newton's law of cooling, and both of the temperatures are given. So the next thing is the surface area. So we are given with the length and the diameter of the wire. We can calculate the surface area of the wire. The next thing is we have to calculate the net heat rate. So it is basically calculated in the next slide. Here comes the solution of that example. The convection heat transfer coefficient for the heat transfer from an electrically heated wire to the air is to be determined by measuring the temperature when the steady operating conditions are reached and the electric power consumed. Whenever you are going to solve the problems in the process heat transfer, you have to take some assumptions. Here we are taking the assumption of steady operating condition exists since the temperature readings do not change with time. So that's why this is called the steady state process. And the radiation heat transfer is negligible. This condition is given in the question statement. So first of all, we'll try to explain how this example will be solved. When the steady operating conditions are reached, the rate of heat loss from the wire will be equal to the rate of heat generation in the wire as a result of resistance rating. So how much heat is being generated by the resistance? So it is being calculated by the generic formula, and it is very simple, that Q is equal to the E, that is the heat generated, is equal to the multiplication of the voltage and the current. We just multiply the voltage which is given in the question statement as well as the current in ampere which is given in the question statement. We have the value of 90 watt, which is the heat is basically generated in the wire by the resistance. So the next thing is we have to calculate the surface area. As we know that the wire is the round wire, and its diameter as well as the length is given. So this is the formula in order to calculate the surface area of the wire. So pi dl, pi is 3.1416, d is the diameter, which is 0.003 meters. So keep in mind that the units must be consistent. In the question statement, this diameter is given in the centimeters. So whenever you are going to use the lengths, so you have to keep in mind that all the units are consistent. So by putting the values, the diameter value and the length value of the wire, you have ultimately 0.01885 meter square, that is the surface area. Finally, we have the Newton's law of cooling for convection heat transfer, and which is expressed as the Q, that is the convective heat transfer rate, is equal to the H, that is the convection heat transfer coefficient, AS, that is the surface area, multiplied by Ts minus T infinity. We have Ts, which is the surface temperature, 152 degrees centigrade, and T infinity, which is the air temperature in the room, that is 15 degrees centigrade. So we can rearrange this Newton's law of cooling in this way. So we have to calculate the convection heat transfer coefficient. So we have all the parameters given, and we have calculated some parameters. So after putting all the values, we have the final value is 34.9 watt per meter square per degree centigrade. This is the value of the convective heat transfer coefficient, which is being calculated according to the question statement, which is mentioned in the previous slide. Before ending this session, you also need to keep in mind one more thing, that you have to mention the discussion of every problem that you are going to solve in the exam. So that is, the discussion is, note that the simple setup described above can be used to determine the average heat transfer coefficient from a variety of surfaces in the air. Also, the heat transfer by radiation can be eliminated by keeping the surrounding surfaces at a temperature of the wire.